If you're done with the fluff and ready to execute on the how, then visit shebuiltsuccess.com for the tools you need. It's time to push go and dive into real strategies, genuine understanding, and concrete steps to create both more in business and life. Head on over to shebuiltsuccess.com for access to exclusive downloads, resources, and bonuses. Because moving boldly forward is not just a destination, it's a multi-layered journey. Let's grow and build your success together. Being able to walk through life and make the decisions. I am not an indecisive person. I am a very, let me think it through. This is the decision. This is the way we're moving. And I get that everybody doesn't roll that way. But I will say if you're going to be bold, being decisive is also a requirement. When things aren't set up in your business, I call it chaos and confusion. When I see chaos and confusion in business, it frustrates me because it hinders you from being able to make bold moves. Welcome back, Bold Moves Bestie, to another episode of She Built Success. I am your host, Claudia. Let's get into it. So today, I want to talk about bold moves and what that really means. I recognize and realize I actually haven't said it overtly for what it means, but I call y'all my Bold Move Besties, so I have to tell you why. So let me tell you what bold moves means to me. Bold moves is a way of life. It is how you present yourself, whether it's in business or with your friends, whether it's for fun, whether it's for how you show up in the workplace. Bold moves is a lifestyle. And in that lifestyle, it affords you the ability to not only speak up and speak out if there's something that resonates with you, but it allows you to be able, or should allow you to be able to feel comfortable. I came up with bold moves for a few reasons. One, my handle is Boldly Claudia, so I mean, why not? Two, I'm not scared to push go. And so I said, okay, how can we kind of bring the push go mentality with being present, being confident, being, there in the forefront. And to me, bold moves is what best resonated. Bold moves is the way you show up, the way you enter a room. We're not going to walk around slouched like this. You're going to walk in confidently, shoulders back, head held up high. You're going to be the one that speaks up. And yes, you may consider yourself an introvert or shy and maybe not the first to approach someone when you see them. So then fine, observe. What is it that you can pick up on that you can strike up a conversation? Make that bold move. In business, what are the decisions that you're making that are bold? It is not necessarily revenue-based or revenue-driven, but you may decide that for a particular quarter, you want to bring on additional team members. What does that look like? How are you taking action, or are you cowering? Do you have the team behind you that can say, yes, you're ready to hire? So your CFO, your tax strategist, if you have one, your accountant, your bookkeeper, whomever that is, who can help look at your financials to say, where are you and what bandwidth you have to bring on those additional members. But bold moves is, I keep saying it's a lifestyle because that's what it feels like to me. I know for myself, I'm a confident person. That's just how I am. Are there some times that, I'm fearful of things? Yes, of course. I mean, we all have various fears, but even with that, I recognize that for me, if I have a fear, I acknowledge it internally. I acknowledge that I have that fear, but it doesn't stop me. It doesn't paralyze me or cripple me. I'm like, okay, that's a fear, but let's go. And I say that because I feel like with the name Bold Moves Bestie, you have to come as a Bold Moves Bestie. You can't be out here, shrinking back or feeling small. Be big. And it's not so much pretend. You can borrow confidence, totally borrow. Let's call it borrow confidence. Borrow confidence and show up boldly. Being able to walk through life and make the decisions. I am not an indecisive person. I am a very, let me think it through. This is the decision. This is the way we're moving. And I get that everybody doesn't roll that way. But I will say if you're going to be bold, being decisive is also a requirement. Yes, you can have your times where you're thinking about it and maybe going back and forth, but showing up fully as who you are and confident in that decision that you made. Or maybe not so confident. You're like a 50-50 or a 30-70-ish split on it, but it doesn't matter. Just be there, be confident, be bold. Bold moves as a mom. Oh my gosh. Where do we start? It's been sometimes letting the kids learn for themselves, whether they make the best decision and me not weighing in, because it's important to me that they for themselves learn versus mommy always coming in. And I'm not a helicopter parent, y'all. That's just not my jam. But I am very present in the kids' lives, and bold moves as a mom is letting them make those mistakes if they make mistakes, or the wins and the successes. I know my older daughter is in high school, and she does a program where she's doing high school and getting her college associate's degree at the same time. And so one of the courses she was enrolled in was AP Government her sophomore year. And I can remember, for me, I didn't take AP Gov. I took AP US History, and I didn't do all that great in that class. I can remember my high school teacher remind me of not Smithers, Ned from The Simpsons or whatever. That's who he reminded me of. And he was from Ohio, so it just made that much more funnier. But anyway, so she took AP Gov, and I can remember being like, okay, and she was, invested in it, ready to go, and she loved it. She would come home and she would talk about, what she's learning and tie that somewhat into what was going on in the media and in the news and politics and whatnot. And that was just her jam. And her dad was, they were having all kinds of conversations. And I was just like, wow, that's pretty dope. But it came time to take the AP exam, which usually is in the spring. And so, she wanted to take the AP exam. I was like, bet, let's go. So I signed her up for the AP exam, and she went to go take the AP exam. And so AP exam was she took it. And so the question was, well, how do you think you did? She's like, I think I did okay. And I was like, all right, the score is, I believe 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. And when you're going to colleges, for those of you who don't know, for AP exams, you could potentially use that, depending on how you score, as credit on towards your degree. And so she took the test, and she came back, and she's a pretty laid back type of a person. And so you ask her, she's like, it's okay. And it's like, can we get some details? Like, kind of felt this way on this question, but it was like, it's okay. All right, bet. And so there's this AP Gov exam, and it was, you go online and you can see your score. And so she went online to go see her score. I remember it was a work day. I was actually, doing client work. And I hear what sounds like somebody, I don't remember, almost like falling or tripping over something. And I was like, okay, whatever. The kids are just being the kids. I didn't really think anything of it. So then she comes downstairs into my office, and she's like, mommy, the score is posted. And I was like, the AP Gov. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I said, how did you do? Clearly in the excitement. Remember, she's laid back, so she was totally wired at this point, like through the moon. So I was like, how did you do? And I was like, okay, wait. Let me get this recorded. Now, I knew she already looked at it. Clearly, she's like excited. And so I was like, let me look at it. I'll read it. So she's hands her phone. And I said, but you got to turn the phone to you so we can record your reaction as I'm scrolling through. So I'm scrolling the phone, and I'm reading. I was like, okay, AP Gov, this is the year. Yeah, that's you. And then I scroll down. The girl got a 5, y'all. She got a 5 on AP Gov. Now, I think she's even surprised herself. She was so excited, but I was so happy for her. And I'm saying that because I know for me, I tried AP. Like I said, the AP history, it didn't pan out. I think I got like a 2 on the test, but I didn't do good at all. She actually didn't know that that's what I got. I never communicated that to her. I wanted her to just go experience it for what it was, and whatever she got, she got. So yeah, she got a 5. So proud of her. Very excited. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And she did that all by herself. Like, mommy, there was no mommy in that. That was her taking because it's an option to take the AP exam. So she took that bold move, that step to take that exam, and she showed up and she blew it out the water, so to speak. So how do you define bold moves? And that's a real life example as a mom, but then also my daughter stepping up and making that move for herself. And so it's important we think about that. How are you showing up boldly for yourself? And if you have children or those that look up to you, how are you showing up for them? What does that bold move look like? The other story that comes to mind is my other daughter. I know I talk about being a sports mom, and my older one does volleyball and my younger one does cheer. And so my younger one, we were with a particular cheer group, and she was a flyer when we were with that cheer group. And I can remember saying, "Okay, mommy, I want to try this other cheer group," which was a little bit further in in the commute. And if y'all know DMV traffic, it's further is long. And so I said, "Okay, are you sure this is what you want to do?" And again, no influence for me. Frankly, cheer has been fun to help to support and be there for. As a flyer, that's the ones that, go up on the top of all the different stunts. It's like, I remember somebody asking me, "Well, aren't you scared?" The funny part is I was like, no, like she wanted to do it. But that was her bold move. That was the decision that she wanted. So we ended up switching to another gym, and the gym is very organized and put together and communicative. And I can remember my younger daughter was like, "Mommy, you like that, don't you?" I was like, "Totally, like that's right up my alley." But more importantly, I can remember when they were announcing, I don't remember if it's called, like, it's not bids, but they announce what team you get to be on. And in that, you get an idea of what your role is going to be. And I can remember her saying, "I hope I'm a base. I hope I'm a base." Now, mind you, y'all know I'm all of 5'1" on a good day. My younger one and I are the same height now, and my older one's taller than me. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, she's probably still going to be a flyer, but she really wanted to be a base. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever she gets for supporting nevertheless. So she gets the news of her team, and they have like all this confetti, and it was like super exciting. And then she gets on the team, and they're like, "All right, you know what? You can be a base." So a side base. She's a side base on this team, and she loves it. And she's like, it's not bomb is like what millennials say. I don't know what they say in Gen Z, but it's the equivalent. I'm a bomb base. I don't remember what it is in Gen Z terms. But whatever that is, that's what she said. And she loves it. I mean, it's crazy because, again, just height-wise and frame-wise, I thought she was still going to be a flyer. But again, stepping up to the plate, making those bold moves or bold decisions in this case, not only was it a switch gym decision, I did not pick the gym. That was a gym she researched and within our area, and she picked. And then even switching positions, no longer a flyer, now a side base. It's like, what? And so, again, another just real life as a mom, how am I empowering my kids to make those decisions? Now, granted, there's things that come into factors into play. We talk about it. It's not just a ubiquitous or blanket, everybody gets to just go ahead and do what they want to do. But there's that element of letting loose and letting them make those decisions. And when things come about and mistakes happen, things happen, those are lessons that are learned. And we talk about it. So yeah, I mean, bold moves as a mom. Oh boy. So there you go. That's a little bit of an insight on that. Now, I think the other one is in business. Like, what does that look like? And I know we talked a little bit about just reflecting and having time and taking a break and pause, but there's times where we need to push go, and those bold moves require swift action. And when things aren't set up in your business, it's almost like, I'm not even going to call it organized chaos. I call it chaos and confusion. When I see chaos and confusion in business, it frustrates me because it hinders you from being able to make bold moves. So what chaos confusion looks like is things like how you communicate with your client or customer, whether or not you do it regularly or frequently, if you're open about your communication. What does the backend look like in your business? So do you have a payroll system? Are you able to track time for your employees or your contractors? Do you have a means to be able to build relationships and maintain relationships, not only with your clients, but potential clients, other potential partners? Like, things like that are elements that I call it organized chaos, because then you're like pulling out napkins and looking on your phone and trying to figure out who you contacted when and rushing to go do. And it's like, it it might work for a time, but if you're a type of business owner, and I know if you're listening to this and you're a business owner, you're about scaling, then that will not work for long term. So coming up and showing up boldly is getting all of that. I call that back office or back end, getting your back end correct and in check. I've talked about Airtable plenty, but I'm going to continue to plug it because I know Asana is another one. I will give them that. Trello is another one that you could potentially use to help manage your back end. But I'm speaking from what I use, which is Airtable, and all of that time entry, team management, metrics, content schedules, all of that is in our back end, and it allows me to not have to be so. I'm not a micromanager, so micromanaging of my team because it's there, because we have the automations in, because we have the dashboards. So I encourage you to look at your back end so that it frees up your time so that you can make those bold moves much quicker, or you can respond to, if you're in the government space, solicitations or commercial contracts much quicker. Think about it. So bold moves, being present and understanding what that next step is imperative. Do not shrink. Show your confidence or borrow some confidence. All right, Bold Moves Besties, I have some homework for you because you know what? That's what I like to do. If you haven't already subscribed here on YouTube, please hit the bell. We drop episodes every Wednesday. And for my audio listeners, on your podcast platform of choice, we drop episodes every Friday. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button there. Now that I said that, Bold Moves Bestie, your homework is to think about what is one bold move that you can take today, or at least start, that'll get you that much closer to your goals. I'll catch you on the next episode of She Built Success. Bye.